Hi, thanks for joining us on our special TV report on Gladiators track with Akon. In spite of the rich resources Nigeria is blessed with, the performance of its mining industry has been discouraging. Today, we are talking to experts in this field to dissect the challenges, promises, the solution to these issues, and also a special documentary focus on Mrs. Maureen Tamio. I promise you, it's very insightful. Stay with us.
To Maureen Tamio leadership qualities are significant for enhanced efficiency and the achievement of goals across different spheres of personal and professional lives, and she will know because she is an exceptional leader herself. Maureen Tamio is Executive Director of Administration and Human Resources at Nigachem Nigeria Limited. With over 10 years of professional experience, starting from the financial sector and banking banks in London, UK, she has a keen interest in building leaders and employing innovation methods to create solutions. Maureen Tamio holds a bachelor's degree in accounting at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Osun State, Nigeria, an MBA in management consultancy from the Aglen Ruskin University, and a certificate of management excellence, among others, from Harvard Business School, United Kingdom. She is a member of the Personal Finance Society, the Society of Mortgage Professionals, and the Chartered Insurance Institute, London. There is no mentioning the growth and development of foundries in Nigeria without the name Babaro Plus, the industrious Greek brothers who came to Nigeria in the 50s to drive ease and possibility in Nigeria manufacturing, with the convictions that any country that desires growth needs foundries to support its manufacturing activities. A small grey iron foundry, the Nigerian Foundries Limited, was bettered in 1969 by two brothers, Romeo and John Paparopoulos, at Ilupeju, Lagos. After the founding Paparopoulos brothers passed on, over 4 decades later, their sons, Vasily and Nicholas, took over. Vasily Oye Paparopoulos is the managing director of Nigerian Foundries Limited. Born and raised in Lagos in 1962, Vasily is well-read, vast beyond its operating field, and has acquired advanced general management knowledge across different disciplines. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics and history from Raleigh College, Florida, and a master in management degree in international management from Thunderbird Schools of Global Management at Arizona State University, both in the United States. He is a strong believer and driver of local content as the chairman of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria and Local Content Group. He believes manufacturing can still play a much bigger role in boosting Nigeria's slow-paced economy if and when friendlier policies are implemented to drive the possibility. Nigerian Foundries Limited has since expanded its operations beyond cast iron, municipal casting, and water pipeline fittings into providing innovative solutions through its fabrications yard and additive manufacturing facilities, among others, across a diverse range of clients within and outside Nigeria, such as clay brick and glass manufacturing, oil and gas, military defense, construction, agro-allied, food processes, to name a few, and it keep growing.
We can start talking about mining when we start seeing the results of how many mines have opened and we have attracted into the country. I'd say most of the work has been done in the last decade. Before that, there were all kinds of issues which had to do with legal, attracting foreign companies and so on. There were many initiatives in the past decades that were not fruitful. Today we can talk that we do have the first Sedilola gold mine in Ilesha, the first indigenous official gold mine in Nigeria. We can talk also of having the African Industries has invested considerable money in an iron ore mine on the border of Abuja to Kaduna, where they're actually mining iron ore and using benefaction methods to make sponge iron to use in their steel mills, very laudable. We can talk also about mines like Royal Salt in Abakaliki, who've existed probably within the last decade, that are mining zinc and lead. And then we can also talk about a few companies that have sprang up. One of the older ones is Royal Ceramics, that uses indigenous clay to make ceramic products. And I just heard there's another one that just opened up in Ogun State, huge one. I have not been there, on the way to Ibeshe Dangote cement plant. Therefore, I can see that the beginning has started. Results have started coming out of the work that has been done the last decade, or the changes in our mining attitude. So therefore, I can say that we're at the beginning. I don't want to refer to mining done during the colonial era, because that's the past tense. Well, I don't know from where these figures have come, but definitely oil, hydrocarbons displaced a lot of the mining, the solid mineral mining that existed in Nigeria from the colonial times. I would say there have been a lot of unofficial mines, or artisanal mines as they are called today, and there are many of them. There has been a lot of artisanal mining, and the end product gets sent to China. Chinese have been here speculating and buying the products. So I can't say much more, because in the 80s, I don't remember of that many mines, unless we're referring to some of the old mines, like the Onyema mine in Enugu State, and some of those old government mines which were in the throes of closing down. So I would again want to reiterate that mining for us is only in the last decade that we can say Nigeria has entered in Africa in the solid mineral game. Well, illegal mining, which is referred to as artisanal mining, has existed and still exists all over Africa. The Ghanaians are also still battling illegal mining and so on. So the concept is to actually make it favorable and bring them into the fold and make them legal, and not hunt them down to try and force them. That has played a big role again. There's a lot for us to learn from the other African countries, where solid minerals is their forte, as opposed to us. But I think that's the best approach. Now, of course, there is an issue, because once you start becoming a legal mine, you have to conform to certain statutory factors, and you need to have HSE, health and safety and environment protection. You need to concern yourself about the environment and so on. And most of the illegal mines, or all of them, don't have these costs because they're not concerned. They're illegal. So as a result, they're able to extract minerals much cheaper at the cost to the environment and to the people, and then export it. We basically have transitioned from being foundries to being reverse engineers. And basically what we do is we keep basically African industries moving by making tailor-made parts and offering innovative solutions so that industries will not close down. And that's where our forte is today. So mining is one of the areas. Oil and gas is one of the areas. We've even moved into making parts for agro-processing, for food processing plants, and you name it. We basically, what we do is we've invested in additional technologies to be able to produce more and more tailor-made parts. And in particular today, where there is a huge problem of foreign exchange, and we have the disruption of logistics internationally due to COVID and due to the Russian-Ukrainian war, we are seeing more and more companies are actually coming to us with their problems and to find a solution. So we have employed the latest technologies, which include 3D laser scanning, where we actually scan the parts, develop drawings, and then decide on how we are going to manufacture the parts and give the client the best possibility. Over the years, if you take into consideration that all over the world we just basically have 5 broad manufacturing technologies, we have here 4 of them. We have the foundries, which is both ferrous and non-ferrous. We have 3D printing. We have machining, which is extractive. We have fabrication. The only thing we don't have is forming, or what we would call in steel, forging. So therefore, we can, a lot of parts will be manufactured using one of the 4 technologies that we possess. Of course, we can't make everything. Well, either you're asking me the figure to improve or to reach to the level that we said we wanted to reach. I don't think we will reach there. We have elections right now, new government to come in will take about another 1 year. So there's a lot of hurdles. Unless once things stabilize, will businesses abroad come and sit and say, yes, let us look at Nigeria to invest in that. I wish to state also one other aspect about us in Africa, is that mining is one aspect. Mineral processing is a broad area which we need to investigate. Making cement is mineral processing. Making tiles is mineral processing. We do not want our mineral resources in raw form to be exported and come in end products. So there's a huge area over there where companies can invest. A good example is African industries taking iron ore, making it into sponge iron, using it by their own steel mills to make steel rods and iron building materials. That is a perfect business model.
Use CNC machine and 3D printer to make patterns. This section clearly for manual making of pattern. This is front plate for slurry pump impeller housing, being prepared for molding tomorrow for the gold mine at Osun State. So the drawing that they are following to be able to produce accurately. It's part of the pattern of the impeller. This is the core box for the impeller. Being prepared for molding tomorrow. This is the impeller housing for the slurry pump. When the gold has been mixed with water, with sand, with all these things that is being pumped out so that they now dry and now the gold can be smelted out. This part of the core box. They're all been prepared. After supplying the first set, the customer is happy. That's why he's ordering another 3 sets. This CNC router, you can do exactly what we are using hand now to do. This can exactly do it. This pattern was produced here. I mentioned that we have 3 types of machines here. We have where we are using the manual with the circular saw, planer to make pattern. Then we have the complete CNC router that can make pattern without any human interference. Then we have the 3D printer. This also can make pattern, can make core boxes also. At the moment, it's printing out the core box. This is a typical scanning process. Starting from the silica sand, steel scrap, ferroalloys, whatever other input that we use in making the castings. We have optic spectrometers, both for ferrous and non-ferrous. We have also metallurgical microscope for checking the microstructures of whatever we have done to be sure that they meet up with the mechanical properties of what the customer demands. These are micro hardness testers for checking the weldment or wires that we have. This is where we check the microstructures, whatever we have produced. We mount sample. This is a typical sample from the melting section. We grind it, mount it on the machine, we'll spark and we'll display whatever is the chemical composition of the melt. If it's not correct, we call the furnace operators, they will correct it then before we pour. Tensile strength, to know whether the strength is what the customer demands, is computerized, so you cannot manipulate the result. This is for sand testing, all the silica sand that comes in, the binders, they're all tested here. This is how the process starts. Inside that ladle, we have some kilograms of ferrosilicon magnesium. You see the reaction. Once they finish pouring, start seeing the reaction, how the metal is reacting with the ferrosilicon magnesium. Process continue. After the reaction, the metal is transferred from the treatment ladle into the regular ladle so that it can be poured into the mold. Further treatment continue. What we're adding now is called inoculin. Alarm has been set. They must finish pouring this metal within 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, whatever metal remains is poured out as big. Temperature is being checked to make sure that the metal is not too hot, which may result in defect in the casting. Mold treatment is being done on the metal. That metal flowing at a temperature 1,360 degrees. What is happening there, we are preheating the ladle. You have to preheat the ladle to 700 degrees before you now receive the liquid metal to avoid explosion when the metal is being poured into the ladle. When the metal is coming at 1400 degrees, the ladle is heated up at least to 700 degrees. Before pouring again, we have to preheat the mold a little so that you have allowed around 300 to 200 degrees. So that when the liquid metal comes in at 1400, there will be no much reaction with the cold mold. Silica sand, which have enough refractory properties. This part of the mold is called coke. It will be coated with refractory paint, the coke and the drag. This is the drag part of the mold. After coating, the coke will be covered on the drag. All these cavities is where the metal will flow in to form the casting that we are molding. This mold here is for the excavator bucket teeth. A core will be placed here in these cavities to form holes that will be attached to the main bucket. So that during excavation, this is the part that weighs out and it will be replaced like a consumable. This mold is for hammer.
what I could achieve by my own hard work, by my principles, by my determination.
There's a lot of focus from the Nigerian Bar Association on ensuring the speedy dispensation of justice. We are pushing for practice directions.
If he's sick, he's not in a position to steer the affairs of the judiciary properly. And that may be what is responsible for shortcomings on his part.
I know him as a justice of the Supreme Court who is very hardworking. I believe if he do what he's supposed to do, that things will be better in the judiciary system.
You had backlog of cases. You could go to a court, for instance, and you see a case that's been in court for the past 9 years, for instance, and you haven't arrived at judgment.
If you have any of the challenges or the other, and you know you won't be able to put in your best in whatever that you are doing, the best thing is to step aside so that whoever that is there can be more effective.
And when people lose confidence in the courts, many investors who are from abroad will find it difficult to bring their money here.
You can't expect about 50 judges to administer justice effectively.
And that's about it from us to you. I believe you enjoyed it just the way I did. Don't forget to follow us next week, same time, same station. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Gladiators Track with Akon. Thanks and God bless.